Cool, man. So let's kind of transition to football for a little bit because I do have two topics I want to discuss. First, since Hudson is an Indiana native, I would like to talk about his team, the Indianapolis Colts. So what's been on your mind with the Colts this season so far?
Yeah, it's kind of been a weird season because I've felt like we've had a couple of really good games, and our record just doesn't. Our record does not show how good our team is. Um, I think Jonathan Taylor and Michael Pittman have both emerged as just absolute beasts. Carson Wentz has been a little underwhelming. I thought he'd be able to do a little bit more with Frank Reich as the coach.
Same.
Relive a little bit of that Philly magic that they had. But he's just kind of been, I don't know if he's. I think Phillip Rivers might have been a better option, surprisingly. He's playing a little better. But yeah, our defense is just, Darius Leonard's just an absolute beast. Our defense has been playing well. Disappointing to see our stud safety go out for the year with an Achilles injury.
Mm-hmm.
But I think even though we're a few games back right now of the Titans, I think this team can still make the playoffs. We were hanging right there with the Titans. We only lost by a field goal in overtime. Honestly, we probably should have won that game. But yeah, I like the way this team's trending. I don't think our record shows how good this team truly is.
Yeah. Over the past couple of years, I've always kind of put the Colts in the playoff picture just because of what they have. I always knew Michael Pittman and Jonathan Taylor especially were going to emerge second years. I had Jonathan Taylor as one of my breakout players before the season started, and he's been getting the job done. It's not like he's like top 10. No, I'm going to say I think he's a top 10 running back in the league. He's proven that he's that great. But you're right about Wentz. Wentz, it's the same thing every time Wentz gets back in the field. He's just been underwhelming. He just hasn't been the same guy since the MVP run he had with Philly with Reich. And I don't know. You would think that if it's the same guy that you worked with, then you can get the same magic. But then there's other variables that come into play, such as there's a whole different roster of players and the style and also the opponents you're playing. They're in the AFC. They're not in the NFC, and the game's probably a little bit more different than it was during that Super Bowl run. But one thing about Wentz is that the thing that alarms me the most is he's so talented. He deserved to be a number one overall pick. He was number one overall, correct?
I don't think he was number one.
Okay, he was a first rounder.
Yeah.
His talent showed that he was a first round pick, regardless of the competition he had at North Dakota State. But it's the decision making. I feel like sometimes he feels he has to play that hero ball. He just doesn't want to make the easy decision. He wants to make the most effective decision. He's
been making very low IQ choices this season. You can just tell it's pretty obvious. I remember in the overtime game the other night against Tennessee. In overtime, he threw that interception. He tried to force it into like the smallest window in triple coverage.
That's the thing he does the most. He just forces throws that don't need to be made.
He had an easy check down that would have probably picked up a first down on that play, but instead he tried to do too much and force it into a spot that he never should have tried to force it into.
And I'm very curious, when he was at Philly, that was the same mindset that he did there, and it just worked better because the talent around him could make up for that bad decision making. So that's kind of things you have to take into consideration. It's just a different roster in Philly, and just I don't know. Maybe he has a confidence issue. Since he had such high praise that one year he was doing really good, and he hasn't gotten there. It's just kind of maybe he's beating himself up internally a little bit and thinks, I need to prove that I am that guy. So I'm going to make the super hard throw, and then I will get back to that guy if I keep doing that.
Yeah, he's trying to relive the past too much.
Amen. I always say, Carson Wentz, I have no problem with Wentz. I think he's a good dude. I hope he kind of finds his footing again. In terms of the Colts' playoff chances, at the moment, it's not too positive for me because you got teams like the Bengals. The fucking Bengals are making a run for the playoffs here. Yeah. And I hate to bash my man Trevor, who's a Bengals fan, also a supporter of the show, and has always been on the show. I mean, I was hoping that they would suffer for the mistake of not picking Penei Sewell and getting Jamar Chase. I was like, they're gonna regret this pick. And it looks like they're getting the better end of the stick.
Looks like they got one of the best wide receivers in the NFL right now.
Yeah, so I know Trevor's probably going to listen to this, and then he's going to be like, what a loser.
Yeah.
But like then again, you got some outliers like the Chiefs. The Chiefs aren't what they used to be. They might not even make the playoffs.
I think are they 4-4 now after
Yeah.
last night? Yeah.
The Chiefs have the same record as the Broncos,
Jeez.
the Patriots, and the Browns. And the Browns have been a surprise also.
Yes.
So maybe I shouldn't be jumping on the whole no playoff run for the Colts because you got the Browns, you got the Browns, you got the Patriots. you got
Steelers
the
aren't that great either.
And the Steelers, they're not. They haven't really been performing as well as they should have in previous years. But like I said, it just depends. I think if they can get this middle stretch at a good position, then it's more feasible. I just don't see it right now, but I do see a little bit of light now that we kind of bring up these teams that have been underperforming.
Yeah, I think I saw that every team in the AFC has at least 2 losses. So I think the Titans are. I think the Titans are 6-2 now. I'm gonna say. I think that's the best record in the AFC is the Titans. The Bills might also be 6-2.
Yep.
I can't remember. Yeah.
Bills are 5-2.
5-2.
Raiders are 5-2. Ravens 5-2. Titans are the only team that's 6-2.
Okay.
So I think they're going into bye week pretty soon.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what's gonna happen to the Raiders. Just because so much negative press regarding John Gruden.
Yeah, a lot's gone on there in the last few weeks.
I'm curious if it's gonna get to them. It doesn't look like it has in terms of how their record has been. I was just saying my last episode, like I'm hoping the players have a good season, regardless if they don't make the playoffs or not, because it's probably hard to play with all this bad press talk regarding your team. Sure, it's about John Gruden, but John Gruden is associated with your team.
Right.
So I hope the players don't let it get to them. But I'm curious if it will.
Then after what happened with the Henry Ruggs news today too.
That's right. That just happened today. Breaking news for those who don't know: Henry Ruggs got into a DUI accident and he killed a person. He was, I'm assuming, drinking in the daytime. He thought he could drive home, and he obviously couldn't. He wrecked his car and killed someone, and he probably won't be playing football for a long time. So that's another distraction. Yeah. So we'll see how that plays off in terms of like losing a good receiver and also just losing a teammate for an incident that could have been avoided.
Yeah, it's awful what happened.
Did you see what happened with the Chiefs? Andy Reid's son got into that car accident, and that was obviously a distraction when it came to Super Bowl week.
That's true. Yeah, it derailed him.
Yeah. The AFC, like I said, I'm going to give your Broncos a little bit of light. I'll have a better idea kind of next couple of weeks, and I'll bug you at your desk and say, all right, dude, they're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Or like, I was right, dude, they're not going to make the playoffs.
Right. Yeah, we're almost coming up on the half. I think 2 weeks from now will be the halfway point of the season.
Yeah, we forget. We have another game. We have another game on our schedule.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Speaking of the Colts, though, Thursday night, we got Thursday night football this week. Colts Jets.
Yeah.
It'd be good to see the Colts on TV again. It's always nice when I can see the Colts on TV because it's always Bears games up here.
Oh man, dude, tell me about it, man. I'm tired of seeing Bears games just to see them get clapped.
I think Bears fans are probably saying the same thing. I think they're tired of seeing them on TV.
Oh yeah.